So next year I'm gonna grow some Carolina Reapers, a variant of it. It's the Carolina Reaper White, also called the Carolina Reaper Pure White. The company is obviously blacked out and there's a reason for it. I'm not gonna promote a company that I haven't tested before. For the people that want to grow some good peppers from reliable companies, use Pocketbud, use Refining Fire Chilies, use a company in Holland called Angelique Seeds. Those have some amazing seeds and amazing collections. I'm starting a little bit early and there's a reason for it. Superhot peppers like Carolina Reapers, even Bohemian Goats are very slow growers. They need a lot of time in beginning phases, especially in the winter period. So I need to start a little bit early, and normally I'm used to do it at the end of November. I do grow Carolina Reapers in Holland. Those are some little ones, and obviously I grow a lot of Peruviano Oranguillos. But there's no longer sunshine in Holland and it's raining a lot. So these peppers need to go and I need to harvest them soon. The obvious and the next thing is, well, you need a grow tent when you grow this early. You need some humidity, you need some higher temperatures because you need to go above 20 degrees Celsius. You need a fan because peppers love movement, and movement creates roots, and more roots means more growth. Want to grow in a grow tent, use a proper one, but I'm gonna grow some small plants and I'm just gonna grow 4 or 5 plants. So I don't need a lot of space. For the people who are interested, yes, I do tissue culture. However, I'm not gonna say I know it all, but I'm a biochemist and I know a lot about growth hormones, so PGRs, fertilizers and techniques. This may be an introduction for new kids, the new peeps. My name is Edwin. I worked in a greenhouse, specifically in a greenhouse that grew peppers and tomatoes and strawberries for over 15 years. I worked in a laboratory and my specialty is production enhancing techniques. So I also created my own fertilizer, Fruit Fuel. It's specifically designed for peppers and tomatoes. I even won an award in Germany for most innovative product of 2023-2024. By the way, this product is called V-Booster. It's temporarily licensed to Top Plant Food. So, yeah, this is cool. I'm getting a lot of broken seeds. And that's why I'm testing. As you can see, there are very small pieces of it, so some of them are crushed, some of them are weird. Look like they have radical over there. It's just weird. So, however, I'm gonna soak them for 24 hours. Maybe something happens, maybe not. But these seeds feel like styrofoam. They feel like they're artificially dried. However, I'm still gonna use some V-Booster just to promote some development. So now I'm gonna place it somewhere warm. It's 24 degrees Celsius over here. So maybe I'm not gonna grow whites, but I still have some HP 65 dead strain. These need to ripen for a couple more days until they're fully red. Then I'm gonna remove some seeds, dry them, and also try to germinate these.
Several days later.
So the Carolina Reaper HP 65 dead strains are fully ripened and I'm quite terrified of them. But in the same amount of days that these fully ripen, I have some seeds that are germinating. With this camera it's probably not very good quality, but well, people need to understand a couple of things. This is a seed that I got from the company. And picking it up with some tweezers is still a lot of work because it's very fragile and very brittle. That's not how it should look like. So these go back in the grow tent, and these two I'm gonna place in a jar just to keep them separated from the other ones. So this is V-Booster. It's called so because it's the vitality booster. But I'm gonna do a couple of drops of water inside of it, on the outside, put a little bit on top of it. created a miniature greenhouse, and by doing so the humidity goes up towards 100%. When the roots are developing, they have all the minerals and vitamins needed for development. Keep in mind, you cannot do this forever. When the radical is too long, it's going to be brittle and all that stuff. You want to place it in some dirt. The next thing I'm going to do is place a plastic bag over it to create a dark environment. When seeds know they are in a dark environment, they start developing roots and they start growing to find sunlight. So by doing this for a couple of days, hopefully there's more development. So on Patreon, Discord and my own website, people have been asking for if I put out a message to the company that sold me the seeds due to the quality. And yes, I did. I did get a reaction. I think they're very nice people, but the quality is just not good enough to call out their names and say, well, you should buy here. Maybe in the future something else happens, and maybe in the future they get more towards higher quality seeds and better packaging, because I think the biggest problem with this company is when they send seeds, they just send in an envelope without any protection. As you can see, most of them are starting to sprout, and some of them, well, create their first leaves actually. That I'm using very expensive PGRs and very expensive products, I need to create an environment that's very high in humidity. Because in this container the humidity is very high. You need to dampen the soil because otherwise it's going to draw out the moisture from the seed and it's going to kill the plant. Now poke some holes and make them twice as deep as the thickness of the seed. You place the seeds or the little plants deep enough and it gets enough resistance and the humidity is high enough. The shell of the seed will get removed by friction. By the way, when you use something like a PGR, plant growth regulators, because there are growth hormones, use gloves or tweezers. I created a miniature greenhouse and I'm closing it up, and the humidity is gonna get upwards to 100%, which is ideal for these plants. I'm using my fancy propagation tent, propagator, whatever you call it, and it has grow lights, so I'm placing it under the grow light, and it's gonna take a couple of days. One of the biggest questions I always get is, why do you use PGRs? Isn't it dangerous for humans and plants? And the reason why I'm using PGRs is pretty obvious in this case. I get sometimes damaged goods and I need to sprout them, or I get seeds from a very old collection and people ask me, do you have something for germinating these seeds? That's the only reason why I'm using it. The second part to the question is, isn't it damageful for plants or humans? And the answer is, in this concentration, yes, it is, most definitely. But plants make natural growth hormones by themselves, so it's a naturally occurring product which plants produce. Some specifically for growth, and some specifically to find sunlight. Plants produce a lot of them. And something that a lot of people don't realize is that archaeological finds are found everywhere, and those fossils, most of the time some plant material is found next to it, and that plant material contains sometimes seeds. Those seeds archaeologists want to sprout to find out what kind of plant material specific species of animals or whatever ate at a specific period of time. So using a product like this, it can make a big difference. So I see some very green, very healthy plants, which mean that plants have fully developed and fully sprouted. I know a lot of people always say it takes between, I don't know, 2 weeks until 6 weeks before seeds are fully developed. But this took me less than 6 days. I'm very pleased that at least 3 little plants have developed, and I think eventually I have about 6 plants And I don't need to germinate the Carolina Reaper red. However, it still doesn't mean that these are the Carolina Reaper whites, because it's gonna take a while before I know it for sure. However, at least I know for sure that these are Superhots, because the shape of the seed and the development of it. For the people that want to see the updates, subscribe and turn on bell notifications for an update, because otherwise you won't get an update. And episode 2, it's gonna be about growing the traditional way or some high-tech fancy way. So if you have a recommendation, please put it in the description box and maybe I pick it out. But I really want to do something new and innovative, but sometimes the traditional way is the way to go. So for the people that want to see the updates, please turn on bell notifications, and I'll see you next time.